Stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time, having a good time. A racing car passing by like Lady Godiva. I'm gonna go, there's no stopping me. Stop me now, I'm having such a good time. I'm having a ball.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome back, everyone, to the VCT Last Chance Qualifier. Standing here with a quick interview with Coach Mike after a crazy first map on Pearl. First of all, congratulations. That was such an insane comeback from you and the team. Talk to us, what was that change that headed into that second half? We know that 100 Thieves has a great defensive half on Pearl, and I know you know that, but how are you able to speak to the team and get them into the right mindset to not only come back, but win in overtime?
Yeah, so I think a lot of it comes down to our assistant coach, Eric, helped out a lot with our defense this time around, and he was helping us adjust things. Sorry, the half was really rough, 9-3, obviously. We'll take the curse, though, but started off not really following through with everything we did. We were doing about like 75% of it, so end of rounds weren't really going our way, and then on defense, we started doing everything our way.
Absolutely. Hopefully it can be a little bit less stressful in that second map, but we'll let you get back to the boys, back to the desk.
Thank you so much for that. And just, oh man, backs against the wall. 100 Thieves managed to sneak a fast one past Sentinels as they will walk away with the win in overtime. Of course, Golden Boy here alongside with Mimi and Wyatt. And Wyatt, I mean, let's just go ahead and start about this one, man, because what a game. Truly, you wanted it to be intense, and this is exactly what we got. Intensity top to bottom.
Yeah, that doesn't even speak to the half of it. And one of the cool things Mike talked about there that we weren't able to address before this game is that he finally has an assistant coach working with him, building out the defensive sides. And you saw that come to fruition with that major comeback. It was reminiscent, kind of a parallel to their Icebox when that was their map pick earlier in the year, playing with the Omen and using the smokes for retakes.
And I mean, once we got to the second half, besides the strategy and all that stuff working, they also just had Cryo going ridiculous in this game. When he got the operator in his hands, every time he was getting 1 or 2 kills against these executes and set up moments where this team could just play these flood retakes together where he was continuing to find value. And I think in this really interesting composition that they were playing, kind of a new look on the double controller that is going to be built around those retakes, putting Cryo in those positions to thrive is so important, especially since on the other side, Zekken was also having an incredible game on the primary duelist.
Zekken started hot and cooled off, and on the opposite side, as you were saying, Cryo in the first half had 8 kills, and in the second half, he had 24 kills. So when you get that man on defense and you get the op in his hands, it's so important for 100 Thieves, it can't be understated, to win the pistol rounds and get the economy going and getting the op in Cryo's hands early, because he can just take over the game. He had 13 op kills in the second half. Yeah. That dude on defense is just totally, he is so different. He is insane on that half then.
Well, you know what I want to do? What? I want to hear from our other coach. That's right. We got that standing by. We're ready to go because we actually have Kaplan standing by. We have Stu ahead of map 2. What you got for us, Mix?
Thank you very much, as always, Golden Boy, Kaplan. Thank you for taking this quick minute to speak with us. I know that map must have felt bittersweet for you in that first half was absolutely amazing. Nothing could have gone better. And then it was just on that second half on attack where things seemed to fall apart. What are the biggest takeaways, and how did you get the team to sort of reset as you head into split?
Sure. So I think, we've been really proud of how we've been playing in scrims, how our game plan, strategies, how everyone's flowing together. I think we just need to keep it a little more simple. I think we were getting into post plants, and then we just played things a little bit different from how we usually do, and just said, hey, let's stay confident. Let's recognize that we just did things a little too different, and that's why it didn't work. Let's just make sure we keep it simple, do what we've been doing. We've scrimmed a lot, so pretty confident if we just play how we practice, we'll be good.
Amazing. That's amazing to hear, and I'm sure the Sentinels fans here are very happy to hear that as well. Golden Boy, back to you on the desk.
Thank you so much for that one, Smix. And yeah, very calm, you know, Kaplan, and you know, it's usually his demeanor, but I think it's also important to note that you need that kind of calm voice in those hectic situations. But something that he did say that I thought was quite fascinating was that they weren't playing the way that they were in scrims, which as a coach, sitting on the sidelines, watching the boys, you know, execute, has to be a little frustrating, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's tough. That second half was brutal for Sentinels. But I think to rewind a little bit, to talk about what was happening earlier, I thought they actually executed really well this composition they were bringing out. On their defensive side, the retakes, combining that Sova utility with their flash utility was really well done. And I thought they adapted to 100 Thieves well. The issue was, as it was so many times throughout the season, it was those end of games, it was closing out that it seemed to be an issue for Sentinels quite often.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the third time. By the way, these guys have only played 4 maps. This is the third time it's been a 14-12 between these two teams.
Jeez.
Closing it out has been tough for both of them. It was tough for 100 Thieves the first time they actually met up. But now, as you know, we're kind of looking forward towards Split. This is an interesting pick to me for Sen because 100 Thieves looked great on Split. This is a map that they've liked since this iteration of the team has formed last year, essentially the entire time, because you get to throw Asuna on the Raze, and when it comes to that attack side entering, he is straight up better than Cryo, and that just unlocks a whole new, new potential for rounds that they can gain that they were struggling to gain on Pearl.
Yeah. And to harken back, the composition 100 Thieves is running, most of the teams here in Americas were going for the double duels. 100 Thieves was actually kind of the only squad that was going for this Raze Sage composition that was really good. They had a lot of executes based around locking off one side of the map with that Sage wall when they were going for the XX and late splitting it to side. I think of that pistol round they always ran that was A heaven into the A side. They had a lot of little gimmicks built into it, which was kind of what we came to expect from 2022 100 Thieves, and what I think was lacking in Americas. But as we've already seen, I think in LCQ, this team has gained a lot of depth. I imagine getting that new assistant coach into the mix, a facet of that. But let's take a look at what they're playing now. And it is the Cryo
That is what
chamber.
I was looking for. Mike loves the Cypher on this map. Historically, they've always ran the Cypher and the Sage, and teams have understood how to play against 100 Thieves, despite them being so good on the map, still getting wins. Cryo on the Chamber is going to be very interesting to watch. I think that's going to be the critical factor here. Sentinels, they're going back to that double duelist they were running earlier in the season.
And it's been good for them. You can expect these fast hits. It takes some of the pressure off of Tens, allows Zekin to be that entry. It's honestly very similar between him and Asuna, taking pressure off their star Opper. But really, we have to look out for Cryo. He was electric on the defense on Pearl, and now he's playing the perfect agent to op on.
And we keep asking ourselves, is Chamber back? Well, we're about to find out at the hands of Cryo. Let's go ahead and see how this one pans out and send it back over to your casters and find out how all this shakes up. It's Brent and Sideshow.
Yeah, let's get this one underway here. Map number 2. I mean, Josh, I feel like we're cursed as well to just watch these teams perpetually be playing into OT all the way to this. I'm not complaining. It's not quite a curse, man. It's a blessing at this point. Yeah. Seriously, maybe that's the subconscious slipping in. but who knows? Listen, let's get this one underway. It's Split that is the staging ground. We've already seen it. I mean, how do you rally back if you're Sentinels now after losing in that fashion?
Yeah, I mean, I think what Kaplan was talking about, focus on the fact that you know how to win, you've been doing it recently in your practice, and you just need to bring it to the stage. All of these players are familiar, they've got experience, they've all played matches before where they started out sucking or lost a big lead and bounced back and won. They know it's possible. I'm very interested in how this chamber works. And for Sentinels on the attack side, it's gonna cause a bit of pressure, but also in theory, the double duelist and the pace you can play at should be good against Cryo's chamber.
What are we going to see in terms of looks? That is a heavy face-up. Look at this from 100 Thieves, stacking with 4 of their players. It's a flash being held off of some form of contact.
I think it's Asuna's. I think Asuna's supposed to just take a crack angle over towards B Heaven and call the pop.
Yeah, no one's taking the bait, though.
No, and instead we're going to see a little bit of pressure onto Cryo. He's in a nice spot here, pretty passive, not going to get caught by any Trailblazer or flashes.
See the new chamber buffs as well. He can play a bit of a wider angle. TP tucked behind into screens. Nade.
Does that clear it?
And down it does not. Yeah, it's very tucked to the corner. Set it up with it. Why not? Grab 2 for your troubles.
What a mess.
Yep. Just raw spam coming out from the ghost there. No reload in sight, but Markwell is known to make plays like that. And here's the flank attempt again. Straight out of the playbook of Pearl. That's what it feels like. And Pancada just uncomfortable. Not
so
knowing which way to watch. Yeah. It has to be the face from Tens. And it has to be clutch. Pull out the performance here. It's a double face-up still. Left up to 10. Here's the shot. Disengages. Dash back on line 3 in the round. Cannot get the 4th. It's Stella. Does the job. Gets the pistol round for his team.
And it's exactly what you say, Bren. The same kind of strategy coming out from 100 Thieves on defense. They play around mid super heavily, push it out, and get a good flank for wherever Sen are popping. And Sentinels have been really pop heavy, grouping up as 5, getting into a site. This, though, devastating. I don't really understand why they were so timid there to try and swing the chamber and trade him out. Some lack of coordination there on how they were pushing off the back of the flash, perhaps. But Cryo being able to get 2 there is massive for them. And as Wyatt was saying on the desk, this starts to build the economy. This now puts it in a position where they can start saving up for Cryo to have an op. He's going to have one whenever he ults anyway.
Yeah, but why not double up? Makes it much more likely you're going to be able to get that one. They hit a jump spot and a pre-fire.
That's a headshot through the wall, I think.
Yeah, it might have actually been 2 players actually landing the shot as well. They timed that one up. Maybe a 3-2-1 swing, but
yeah, a lot of damage.
Healed up though. Trailblazer. Only spotting the 1, I believe, so some good information. Asuna. Oh, goodness, okay.
The blast pack there to stop him getting punished, and the nade as well to hold people back. He's now got a lot of information on where Sen are playing, and you can see him calling for the rotates.
Yeah, giving this one up. A lot of noise being made here by Sen. Skipping and hopping. Bouncing up towards heaven now on that ramp angle. There's a grouped up here, but when he gets into close quarters and with the sheriffs in hands, you never know. You really never know. Nade dropped. What in the Lord's name is that? Oh my! I mean, series of fortunate events here for Sen. It's a 2-player advantage, and now complete heaven control is there. 30 seconds. Decisions need to be made.
They could pivot, but instead it looks like they're committing to A.
Onto the site and still anchoring towards the back. Into the corner here, it's Asuna. He's weak though. Weak and can't quite land it. So much damage being done.
And Stella decided to try and push through, seeing if he could use the distraction, but he only had a judge. Now it's all left down to Bang. Look at the weaponry on the other side of things here.
Yeah, it's exchange hands.
I was talking about the economy starting to bloom for 100 Thieves. This is all the way down in the dust already.
Bang feeling like he has to play into it. Players are weak. There's chances.
Too stupid.
But it's got to be perfection. There's the first hurdle. Star online as a pull towards the back. Bit of a prediction. Oh, damage has certainly been done. Player's weak enough. Yeah, but time is running short now. Spike's starting to tick further and further, and no chance in hell. Yeah, he realizes it. Bang just got to back away. Decent attempt at things, but I mean, Sen. I called them miracle plays here, but that nade, I don't know what the intention was for that. Maybe just to clear out heaven, but I think it's unfortunate. It just chased Derek.
It did.
Heat seeking.
Yeah. It chased Derek, and Derek had just team flashed. I believe it was Cryo too, who then is just completely alone, goes for a swing, and isn't quite able to deliver. Stella only has a judge. You see him there getting caught. Everything falling to pieces. And this is big for a couple of reasons. Obviously, it's big just because Sentinels get on the board, break the economy, etc. But like we were talking about, it delays the op getting into Cryo's hands. And when you have a player like Cryo who is so defense-sided, so op-focused, he got 75% of his kills on defense on Pearl. I mean, if you can stop that momentum early, you're going to have so much more success.
Triple play. Oh, the timing of this one. Martin's watching it, but it's already low. Oh, that is not clean yet. Okay, gets the job done.
Perfect play.
Yeah. Yeah.
Last player standing.
And it is actually really clean here. Unless Stella can get anything done with the Classic, which does not seem likely, Sen are going to be able to keep all of these rifles going. And the economy's just blooming.
Yeah, there it is. Just holding.
What a
casualties, yeah.
Great way to begin the attack site. Something that was a massive failure for Sentinels on Pearl. And an area that they've really struggled in. Both teams went 2-11 in first kills to first deaths on Pearl. Both teams on their attack side, 2 for 11. And in general, that has been something that's absolutely plagued Sen. Running the double duelist.
Enemy remaining.
Throughout the regular season, Zekken was winning about 46% of his opening duels. Ten's devastatingly poor, only winning 26% of his opening duels.
Here we go.
Anytime you can get them firing, it's going to be excellent.
Back into the action, aren't we? Nades. Close left corner, but so much focus and emphasis being placed just into A main by Sen at the beginning of these attack side rounds. Also looking, trying to take some mid control. Boombot didn't see anything, but nobody wants to press the advantage here, so.
Small mistiming there. Could have been dangerous up in B Heaven, but instead 100 Thieves have backed off and offered Sen the whole of mid control. Trailblazer comes up ramp here, looking to try and squeeze anybody.
Yeah.
But there's no one home.
They're starting connected. Should have seen it. That squeeze going online. Good flash. Even better jump spot. Derek, no. Goddamn. He's not safe there.
That's an baiting.
But baiting, yeah. And maybe can get a bit of a payout for it. Wow. There's 2 for it. High ground angle. You don't expect that. Tens updrafting in the midst of all the chaos, in the midst of all the gunfights.
And leaves Pancada in a great spot to be able to collect anybody who's trying to come back through Heaven. The wall up for the moment, obscuring vision. Stella ready for anyone to try and swing through, but Pancada, again, plays slowly.
Yeah, there's no swing attempt. Uh-oh. 5 bullets left. Unfortunate time with a snake bite. Pancada gets out of there. The reposition is very good. Still lots of time, and damage has been done. Bang still wants to go for it. Dropping down now. Just seeing the elbow, trying to force one of the fights out, but he does not know where this other player is. Still lands the headshot. Star laid down, but as it blooms, as it blossoms, it's Pancada who swings the return.
Excellent finish there. Pancada got the read perfectly on when Stella was about to pull out that snake bite. Realized that he'd been spotted in that corner somehow. Excellent awareness. And at the end of the day, Asna's gameplay ends up being stifled just a little bit. Felt like he had that moment where he just hung his teammate out to try and got rewarded massively for it. But instead, Sen carry on the pressure, knock 100 Thieves down, their eco suffering. And Cryo's still yet to have really any moment where he can get the op online, get his ult blossoming either.
Smoke in the face of Cryo. You know he wants to take the timing here, but his TP is so close to him. It really doesn't get him out of danger. Pushing through, the smoke gets watched for. All that pressure damage done to Stella. Cheeky attempt just to try and trade it. The round has been slowed down entirely. Waiting to see if there's some sort of reaction, but now the Trailblazer going through into Heaven. Doesn't spot any players. Asuna now trying to take up that space once more. Does another rifle. Does have the Stinger though. Flash. What a time to take that, but the Stinger doesn't get it done.
Yeah, Marv's able to pull out his Vandal just in time. They're all going to be heading into... it looked like they were going over towards A, but they're just making sure they re-clear behind them for a moment. Marv on that flank watch as everyone heads into Derek, who only has a Sheriff. Does not look winnable for them. This is going to be Sen with another clean round. I mean, even the rounds in which
30 seconds left.
They're on the anti-eco, they're really just being able to save every rifle.
Connection with the flash. Derek revealing his position, you're right, yep.
And that lack of economic damage, it's going to hurt in the long term. Look at these players. Pancada, he's got 5.7. Tens and Sassy with tons of money as well. They're not worried. Marv's just playing with his food.
No way.
I mean, this looks...
That is, yeah. I mean, heads up from them, saving a kill for Sassy so we can build towards his ult.
Yeah, very nicely done. I mean, when they're thinking about those kind of details...
You know they're in control.
Yeah. But they were in control of the first half in the first map too. Side swapped. But this should be, in theory, the side where Sentinels have the most success, I think. Their double duelist composition should work very nicely here.
See how to get it done. Timeout. It's forced out. And yeah, we'll see it. Supporters coming out in droves. There's a queue out the door. It's a line of 10,000. They couldn't get in, Josh. Match of the century.
Yeah, well, the wild part about this match is that it's single elimination.
Yes.
You know, neither of these teams doing well enough to make playoffs in the regular season, so both stuck in that single elimination portion of LCQ, where one of these teams can potentially go on a run. One match might be all it takes to start the momentum, the snowball going, and maybe, possibly, have that dream of competing the champions this year. but guaranteed one of these squads, the end of their season, the beginning of the off-season, roster mania, whatever.
Excellent point.
It's going to be starting.
Yeah, just to hit again.
Just a matter of hours.
So it'll be the last time at least one of these teams plays in the 2023 VCT season. You gotta think that comes with a tremendous amount of pressure. Well, here we go. Timeout taken. 100 Thieves. For some adjustments, they can bring back the round differential. This time mid, launching themselves deep into it. Straight up drive dash play by Tens with the flash to accompany him. Maybe set him up, but just backing away. The poke and prod. Biding their time now.
Trailblazer clearing things out, and Cryo getting posted on a much deeper angle. This is the round where Cryo's finally got the operator online. Look how deep he is on this kind of position.
Denied.
This is going to allow everybody else to start rotating away. Only Derek, who flashes up into A heaven and realizes that Sentinels are not quite there, but they always have the option of pivoting.
Asna has a showstopper though. Well, on the other side is Zekken. Lets the rocket rip, moving forwards. Across his bang, holding close to the pillar position. And now you're finally seeing it. A return with a rocket and a return with a kill. Takes down the opposition. The counterpart of Raze.
Look at the Viper's pit here on B. It covers everywhere, every part of the plant area. So even though Sen have the player advantage, this is going to be very tough to get the plant down.
Causes some difficulties. How do you clear out the pit now, despite that squeeze? I mean,
just a little fake
are they gonna
tap.
wait for Marv to look all the way through here? He's worked himself into A heaven.
I mean, they can't possibly, sure.
There's 20 seconds roughly left, man, and he's going for the backstab here, but they're gonna have to coordinate something to try and play this one forward. Snakebite to try and deny Stella with the counter spam. He's still up and still alive. That means the pit is still in play. And here's Marv finally. The extra element I was talking about, the extra level to it, the backstab is there. Plan online, denied once more, and Stella still dodging around. And it's round one.
What an ult from Stella there. That absolutely wins the round for 100 Thieves. That is an ult from back spawn when you've completely given up the site that covers every inch of the plant spots. And it creates such an enormous amount of pressure on Sen to try and get the plant down. Even when they have every player dead. Stella's still going to be inside the pit, making it very difficult to end B. Sentinels had opportunities there to pivot in either direction. But now that Cryo has Op online, this is going to change the entire dynamic of the map.
Free aim, just for the jump spot. I see both players, Cryo and Tens, going face to face with the operators in that duel, but currently positioning opposite sides of the map.
I mean, Tens just using his attack operator in a more passive kind of role to hold angles for the rest of his team. Not quite looking to do the Kang.
My ult's ready.
Trailblazer now used though. Sassy pushing forwards. Not sure if there was a connection there, but Nade and a snake bite. It's good util being used on the defensive side. It's allowing Sentinels from taking some of that space.
Yeah, the trademark here is absolutely imperative as well. It controls, or at least gives information at the top of vents. And now as it's broken, Cryo realizes that he's going to get pinched. He's got to make something.
Pushes forwards, catches the lurk. Seeker still at his back, but look at 100 Thieves flooding and surrounding them. They've given them access to the heaven. And he put the question in their hands. Well, such a white face by Marv, not favored. The reactions are just too damn clean right now. Cryo, a jiggle with the movement, trying to bait out a shot. It's Tens, his adversary. Brings him down with the op head-to-head here, but they still need a way to get into the site. It's not looking likely. 13 seconds left. Smoke to cover the cross. Angle still held. Up onto the high ground, but he misses it. Tens now out in the open, wide. Asuna with the punish, and no time left for the plan. They face it, they realize it.
Yeah. Excellent opportunism there from Asuna, making sure that he punishes and converts the 4v2. But it's Cryo that, to me, is just showing the value instantly of that operator. Even when he gets pinched there, as soon as his trademark gets broken, he realizes he has to make some kind of play. And then here, you know, Marv really should be favored in that kind of spot. If he has a read that Cryo's tucked in that corner, he's close enough. He should be able to swing. But Cryo's reactions are so good.
Enough money though still for a buy for Sen. Konu is being kept honest. It's still that pesky operator. It's the thorn in their sides. The way that Cryo's being set up, just holding down that A angle. A repeat of the prior rounds, just using the Trailblazer to clear through and set himself up forwards.
Yeah, it's all the same kind of thing, but this time 100 Thieves are playing mid more aggressively.
Snake bite at the feet. Nobody can really push past that one, but now looking to try and creep forwards, aren't they?
Satchel out.
Smoke fading.
Asuna was thinking about catching people there. He was looking to take the fight with the blast pack.
5 seconds left until there's a flash online for Sassy. There's a nade close to the corner. Using the util to try and choke them out here. Beautiful nade as well with the spam. Skip and hop over it. Not a single bullet lands. Could have been the difference maker for a kill, but Stella survives.
This is a minute for Sentinels to just take mid control.
Yeah, and they are just being bogged. But all the util has been expended now. 100 Thieves don't really have too much left. Asuna doesn't. No flashes left available towards it. Dash forwards. Asuna still his claim to the kill here. Onto 10s. Forwards. Seconds out in the open. And what is occurring right now? Reactions. Repositioning. Bang with the two-piece. Even up to Pancada. Tiniest of angles to watch. Down onto the ground. Players low enough, but his position rapidly approached now. But the 3 remaining players. And again, no time on the clock. This is becoming a repeated problem now for Sentinels.
As long as 100 Thieves can leave Cryo in control of A and get him set up there with the Trailblazer, they just have too many people covering the rest of the map for Sen to deal with. There's 2 players permanently committed to mid.
remaining.
They can go and help B and assist Bang whenever they need to. And Sentinels had to commit 4 players for mid control. There was only 1 with the spike trying to come through Garage. I mean, when you're not pinching into B, the anchors have all the freedom in the world to just focus on the people coming through B heaven. They're struggling way too much with winning that map control battle, and then they don't have people in position to properly pinch into the sites. Now, having said that, we really don't know what to expect from either of these 2 teams in terms of what a good scoreline is going to be on this first half. We don't know, listen, maybe 100 Thieves are going to be terrible on the attack side and Sentinels have already done enough. We really don't know what to expect from these squads. But at the moment, it looks like 100 Thieves are rallying back, and much earlier than they did on Pearl.
Bringing it nice and even. You're exactly right. It's Cryo being set up with that deep op angle. The amount of map control it gives 100 Thieves. Yeah, it's Asuna. He can just rotate the util, use it himself, in and out with Stella using the snake bites, and the amount of delay.
Yeah, I mean,
it's insane.
It looks like they're set up for it again here. The Trailblazer just so commonly coming down in this, long angle over towards...
I'm surprised there's no attempt of a punish being called here by Sen.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see them at least break the Trailblazer. Because I think if you break the Trailblazer early, right at the beginning when Derek's trying to use it, it makes Cryo less confident of being able to push up. And Cryo is a fairly defensive player in, how he likes to fight. He's not just going to walk up on angles on his own, usually.
He's a bit dodgy here for Sentinels. Doesn't have a rifle. Spam, that is ridiculous timing. Look at the damage he's doing here.
Yeah, that's so much.
Backing away onto Sassy.
And it's Sassy. It's the only player they can't heal back up.
Exactly. Rotation here. The smokes. Hopping up onto the boxes. Are we still going to see that same delay? It's spam into it. There it is. Dash forwards and attempt at a punish. Tens. He's got to dodge the nade at his feet. His teammates want at that. Backing away. Position's going to be found here. Still a nade to try and delay. Here's a Trailblazer. There's a nade. Rebounded off, but has he missed the timing? Pass and forwards is up to Bang. But Asuna, he's the one who collects.
The nade, the collapse. There's 4 players ready on B. Ready, waiting for Sen. Again, because Cryo just controls the entirety of A.
Yeah.
The trademark at the top of vents. He's watching the long angle. And remember that Viper utility that Pancada has down takes longer to cycle now.
Asuna is just a menace, man.
30
Holding that
seconds
top
left.
position at the back of stairs towards B heaven. The util's good to just to delay. I mean, Tens is forced to jump past the nade and just try and take advantage of it, but anyone who's trying to follow up just gets turned into mincemeat.
This is a big struggle now for Sen to figure out what to do.
Is it 4 rounds in a row now, I think, where the
10
time is just running
seconds
low, just getting delayed, and when they try and rush it like that, they're getting punished?
Yeah.
Yeah, something's got to change.
I feel like going for a big A exec is also keep it simple, but would also have some level of value. When Cryo's usually looking to take a more aggressive angle, not that he did in this particular round, being able to overwhelm him early as he's trying to get set up there with the, you know, double duelist hard exec onto A. You could even try and double blast pack up, ramp, have TenZ updraft dash into heaven.
You have the tools to punish, you do. But it's what they're setting up for.
It's really been lackluster after that initial burst of rounds from Sentinels, and it coincides exactly with Cryo getting the off online.
Retaken for 100 Thieves now. Flashes like ships in the night, sailing past.
Here's that Trailblazer.
Yeah, and typically this is used with Cryo pushing aggressively on ramp, but last round playing a bit more passive. This is a contact play. Pushing up. Stella's holding the market angle, so Asuna can post himself so aggressively.
Yeah, Zekken may end up having to take a fight in mid here, but Asuna and Stella look like they're just happy holding these positions. You think about the Trailblazer, though, that Derek used. Even if Cryo isn't pushing up off the back of it, Sentinels have to assume it's a possibility he is. So they still have to be very diligent. Now they've used their own Trailblazer and did not time it with the wall going down. That was so dangerous.
Yeah, very dangerous indeed. Sassy.
Got away with it.
Could have paid for it with his life. We're up to 50 seconds mark. Trailblazer was used. Trademark was broken into A heaven. And so it does add that extra element of uncertainty for 100 Thieves.
Here.
Noted by Cryo's reposition with the operator backing away here. Flash round to the side. There's an A being used, but it's a pivot.
They head into B, really?
Yeah,
they have
rotating.
nobody coming from B main again. This is all going to be B heaven.
30 seconds
They've got a
left.
snake bite at their feet.
This hasn't been working.
It hasn't, but Asuna's not here, so they don't have that to try and bog them down. They dash into the side! And TenZ didn't feel favored for it, yet Stella. He falls. Asuna in the smoke. Looks like he wants to try and take a timing off of that one. Bang falling. Here's the pit. Great time for it. Second coverage. It's necessary now. The plan has to go down. There is no punish. And maybe thinking about calling it quits here if you are 100 Thieves. Retaking into the pit with the operator. It's 2v4.
They have extraordinary wealth.
Ooh.
But I'm not sure that's going to avail them much.
Yeah, angle there by Marvs. Plenty of damage done. Lovely movement. Repositions, resets it. Zekken. Make sure it doesn't get messy. Make sure it doesn't get dicey.
And yeah, I think you called it out, Brent. The big reason that they're able to make that work is that Asuna doesn't have his utility ready to go as they get into B heaven there. It was just a little further away from the action. And Stella also in a bit of an odd position, tucked underneath, hoping that he's going to be able to get cheeky kills on people, flooding, dropping down from rafters, but instead gets cleared out hard by TenZ.
Here.
Still,
Even.
Cryo now is going to have the tour de force in hand.
Here.
And the same defensive setup. I mean, they're really not shifting things to... Oh, here goes Cryo actually in mid. I thought he was going to try and take a ramp once more.
He's changed it up.
Hey, and look, the teleport put all the way back in B heaven, so he can take an early kill here. Or an early fight, at least.
Does mean that A is
Back
going to be
up.
weaker. Essentially just relying on Derek to be holding this.
And you're relying on the conditioning that they're expecting Cryo to be over at A.
Yeah.
They just don't expect him to be playing mid.
TV to get out of there. So they want to force the issue. Shot missed. Derek still at the back of the side here, but there's the flash forwards. TenZ. Dropped off the operator. Doc, did it connect? There it is. Reactions. Asuna, he launched himself into the fray, and he's brought down and punished because of it. And kind of missing a shot with the operator. It's gifted to him prior. Still the tour de force. It's there.
Spike
In the
planted.
hands of Cryo. No one's giving him a sideline. No one is giving him an angle. Danger around every single corner. Smoke fades. Into it though, bang. Already taking the space into elbow. Still watching onto just the shoulder or the elbow. A ridiculous shot to hit. Pangada still with the op. Stunned up into the corner. Sassy can't do a thing. Just left it up to him. With the Cosmic Divide there, this time not making the same mistake of rushing into things. It has to be the rifle picked up, but it's being covered. Bang, towards the back. Stella just covering it, and as well, pushing right through. The punish in place.
Great work there. I mean, Cryo's shot
Last
onto
round before
a
the switch.
fraction of a target.
Yeah.
Just trying to bait out the operator's shot with tiny, tiny jiggles, and yet Cryo's still good for it. The reactions are just ridiculous.
I was wondering about that. I was wondering what was going on there.
Asuna loves being the tip of the spear for this team. It really increases the pace that they like to play at, but yeah, I'll be happy that his team won that one.
Yeah. It's a narrow lead. So even between these two teams.
It really has been. And yet it's been streaky.
Yeah.
Back and forth, but in long consecutive periods.
This time it's really all in for Sen. Fully grouped up, Trailblazer, this time directed towards the side. Showstopper, dash forwards, up in the air, exchange on either side! Who knows what's going on, but Tens does fall, and it's covered into the elbow. Holding the line, stalwart defenders, reinforcing themselves as well. Players are swarming onto the sides, and everybody is just falling. Scattered to the wind, it's left up to Pancada once more with a dog chasing right behind him. All but wrapped up for the half here. Should be looking like that 7-5.
And Pancada left in the same spot that he was in the final round of Pearl. Just knowing that game's over for this one. Having to go back and think about things as the rest of his team looks down the wrong end of a 7-5 half. And if they couldn't do it off the back of a 9-3, what does that mean for them here? It could be completely different, of course. It's been so long since we've seen these squads.
Get a cheeky with it.
And Cryo closes things out in just perfect fashion.
Yeah.
As soon as they got the op into his hands, it was a game changer. Instantly allowed them to put way more resources, manpower, over towards the B and mid sides of the map. And just completely shut Sentinels down.
Yeah, absolute difference maker, wasn't it? Well, that's it for the first half. I send it down to GB.
Thank you so much for that, fellas. And yes, 100 Thieves currently sitting at 7-5, and it's very clear that coming into this one, all eyes were obviously going to be on the impact fraggers for this team, right? Cryo, Asuna. I think without a doubt, 100 Thieves definitely delivering, and if anything, Asuna has really proven why when that kid's on the raise, man, you got to watch out.
Asuna's been absolutely insane, and I think the comeback that they managed to bring into this half all started with that one round with the Viper's Pit. 100 Thieves, I think, is continuing to show us that this team is willing to bring out new creative things, as we've seen on Split in the past. Now with this new comp, still doing it. This round was the one that brought them back, and they built such great momentum off of it.
By the way, like, what is that Viper's Pit anyway? It covers the entire site, every single spot you could plant. Like, that has to be some kind of TikTok, you know, esque Viper's Pit. Like, they definitely didn't cook that up themselves, I guarantee you. But either way, like, that was the momentum shift right there. Like, winning that round, getting the op up on Cryo.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, and now looking towards this second half, the player that I think you have to watch out for is going to be Asuna, as you were mentioning. He was insane in the first half, but on these attacking sides for 100 Thieves, where Cryo tends to struggle a little bit more, they normally look to this guy to be that primary entry, and he's consistently great on the raise here on Split.
Yeah, I think one of the questions that Sideshow would ask is like, they couldn't get it done on a 9-3, baby, but now they find themselves here in an even closer situation. Can Sentinels, what does Sentinels do to pull themselves back into this game?
Pistol round is very important here. You have to start off strong. You got to win this pistol round and not get eco'd.
That's what you have to start with. But the question is, what can you build from there for Sentinels? This double duelist comp, they're normally solid on this defensive side, particularly when it comes into those retakes. But again, you're playing against this new comp from 100 Thieves that I think is going to really want to slow the game down, play into that mid-round. And if 100 Thieves can punish Sentinels' likely kind of goal of re-pushing to clear space on the mid-round with the double duelist and call their mid-rounds correctly, this really is their game to win.
Yeah, this is it, folks, for 100 Thieves, an opportunity for them to move on to this competition, but Sentinels have to force their way back into this series. Let's send it back over to Brennan Sideshow.
Can they do it? I mean, Baby Boy set it up, has to start with that pistol round to try and bring it even. And expectations, you know, there's still that level of uncertainty. Month and a half of practice for all these teams. You don't really know what we're going to get.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, 100 Thieves pistol rounds have been looking elaborate so far. They've put serious work and time into drawing up specific pistol round strategies. They usually like to double blast pack up towards A ramp. This time just going for a full A exec.
Yeah, straight.
There's no one home.
Into the site, completely ignoring heaven, ramp, whatever. Trying to get that plan down, but a nade sails right over the top. You have to respect it, so bang. This is the plan pulled. A lot of delay out in the open. It's just spam again.
This could get really silly over towards ramp. Cryo's got his rendezvous in a position where if he uses it, he's just going to be on top of these players.
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go stupid here. Moving forward, try and take the fight towards them. It's barreling with a player advantage. Ghosts and headshots being found. Second and 10's leading it for them. Nade regains, rebound.
Look, he's on top. Oh, he's on top. What am I watching?
It's 3 kills, and he might have just salvaged it.
I'm telling you, we're getting silly out here.
Leaving it to the corner. It's Asuna. He's cleaned up, but Cryo, last one left. 5 health. The gap into the smoke. Pancada's watching it. But what was that?
As soon as he put down the rendezvous, I knew that was getting a bit stupid, but I mean, love the idea. Didn't quite work for them though, and Sentinels pick up a very important round here. Are we going to see the players have to react to it? I think this was a little earlier while they were clearing this area out. But look at this. Rendezvous up top. Sassy realized instantly, but he had his utility out in his hand, and he just couldn't quite figure out how to punish the play. Nevertheless, Pancada's got his back, cleans up the final one, and they're able to secure it. It's big to get them back in.
Looking like as well. Direction leading towards that 7-7. Need to try and punish that. Ahidior being grabbed close to the corner. Maybe I spoke too soon. It's a lovely first kill, but Mark still holds his ground. Holds the line. Bulldog. Now we see contact plays here. Snakebite plays a close corner here. Mark forced to use some of that util. Dog trailing him down, but he's got support from the rest of his team. Pancada supplementing it. Derek ripping off heads, but Tens eats him. There's an upgrade for you. There's a kill. They're brought down to 47 health. It's a 1v2. Single shot of the Marshal will do it. Tens should be favored. Misses it. Shot goes wide and backs away. Kyle's like, okay, plenty of time left.
Plenty of time, but no access to the spike. I mean, the spike is so far down on B here. And Cryo's weak. Like you said, one shot from the Marshal. Body shot, whatever.
Marvel's
should be
aware.
clean for Sen.
They're very aware. And look, this is Cryo. Knife out to try and take a timing. An unexpected one, but weak enough. Risks need to be taken to convert it. So it is that 7-7.
It was expensive, though. Yeah. Sentinels are not going to be coming in here with a really hot bonus round with a ton of weaponry. 100 Thieves kept it suppressed a little bit. That's going to make things easier for them to hold the momentum. I think a big question, though, for 100 Thieves is how do they get value out of Cryo on this half of the map? You think back to the old Chamber meta when it was super dominant. It was about your entry player being able to make a ton of space, and then the Chamber cleaning up.
Here. Keeping a close eye on it. Don't exactly have the same tools as a Jet would, for example. Can't quite dash in. Doubling up that aggression. Pretty big reliance on Asuna to be that spearhead. You mentioned it earlier, Josh. Loves to be it, so...
Yeah, and he's been good at it, too. Yeah. Especially on the Raze. His Raze has been significantly... I mean, more impactful, I would say, than a lot of the other roles that he's played for 100 Thieves.
Interesting read here. Trailblazer only spotting the one. Dog now going to be used, but cleared out. Single shot will do it.
And Cryo's put his trademark down in B.
Teleport's ready.
And that's to make sure that nobody can go for a reactive push out through B main. And instead, he's setting up for the fight happening in B heaven. This is just going to keep kind of information around the map.
Flash connects. I know at least one player's there, but 3 of them already approaching towards ramp.
And look, as he pulls back and the trademark disappears, now they go for that same B main push I was talking about. So there's 3 players here on Sentinels. They know it's going to be an
30 seconds left. How do they fight this one? There's a pull at their feet. A Satchel's play to avoid and dodge and juke. They're vulnerable up. And there's so much damage being done. There's 100 Thieves chunked down. It's brought to the wire. They've been bogged down, playing it a little bit too slow. And the weapon advantage might just be skirting away from them. Faced into the corner. The rifles, the stingers, everything at work. It's up to Stella. Damage certainly done. An 8-7 Sen. Working with absolutely nothing. Bottom of the barrel stuff.
Yeah, a monstrous round for Sentinels to get. They stacked the correct site, had the read that it was going to be A. They had 3 players there, committed. They had a Gravwell Snakebite out, ready to stop that. And they're going through a wall and taking decay damage. Then they're vulnerable up by the pull and by the Snakebite. It just makes those lower level weapons hit so much harder. 100 Thieves were playing very slowly on their attack half on Pearl too, and I think that was a big problem for them.
Yeah.
And we just saw it bite them once again.
Smoke propped up. What is occurring there?
You want to play? Let's
Cacophony
play.
of util. That's our recall pull. Cryo, he finds the first open. He's got the tour de force.
Exactly, tour de force online. Now he needs to be getting up towards the front of the pack.
Timing. Here's the footsteps. Pancada. He rushes forwards. Trying to plug up the defenses. This is all over the place, man. Sewers controls there. The Seeker's ripped off as well to try and clear a path for them. And now a pivot over towards B. Running away. Got nothing to do with the other side of the map. Still grouped up here. Leaving it up to Marved, but playing off site. Safety in numbers, they realize that with the weapon advantage on top of it. Happy to give them control of the site.
Yeah, but this also means that they're giving control of key angles to Cryo.
Snake bite.
Although to be honest, at the moment, he's not playing with them.
Yeah. Just watching for the heaven angle, but now, wow, this timing, yep. Bait and switch, there it is. Coming it down with a rifle, Marved. What a player.
And they sweep aside any level of resistance from 100 Thieves. Cryo not impactful in that kind of spot, open to way too many angles. Easy cleanup with the economy advantage.
Well, Leicester team staring down, you know, okay, losing in the fashion that he did in map number 1. Disadvantage when you get into the second half of this map here. They might have faltered, but not for Sentinels. They got that veteran presence and now leading with 2 rounds of themselves, forcing a timeout from 100 Thieves.
100 Thieves are going to take attack here. I mean, seems absolutely needed. They haven't been able to put a single round on the board on their attack side. Remember, 100 Thieves' attack side was dreadful on Pearl. Yeah. I mean, we were talking about how good the comeback was. You can only have a comeback that large by having a horrid first half. They were 3-9 down, weren't able to really make use of all of the mid control that they were getting. Couldn't split into the sites properly, went 2-11 in first kill to first death.
Yeah.
And it's looking like at the moment, those same issues are really starting to rear their head.
I think you're right about a tempo shift is what's needed for 100 Thieves. It's a bit difficult though, because they're not running the double duelist. They can't exactly, you know, dash double satchel into things. Cryo is very locked down. He's slow. But when you play slow on split, you need to do enough to try and pull the defensive util out. Otherwise, you're going to get bogged down.
Right, and I think there's different ways that you can increase tempo. Increasing tempo doesn't just mean we're going to rush A or rush B.
Sure.
It can mean we're going to look to fight more aggressively for map control. We're still going to play for mid and for A ramp, but we're going to do it earlier in the round, and we're going to go deeper than we were before. We're going to put more pressure. We're going to force those fights.
I see evidence of that now.
I mean,
everyone grouped up.
This just looks like it's going to be a fast piece.
Yeah. Look who's watching it. Tens onto the ramp hanger with the operator, taking the peek, taking the ankle. Shots there, but Sassy seeks to claim a prize of his own. Shot did go wide. Second one also missing. That's a dash active, a pull to try and push them back. Nade rebounds off over the top. I'm sure nobody can play up into that heaven position. You can see just how brutal this util is, but again, the shot's just not quite there still. There's that player advantage that's still kicking. For Sentinels, if they play it safe, cool, calm, and collected, slow it down a tad, they're still going to be favored.
I mean, look how much control of the map 100 Thieves have here. They can pivot in many different directions. They have the ability really to go even all the way through spawn over to B, hop down, go through vents. I mean, they have tons and tons of different options here. And this is what I mean about increasing the tempo. They still have 50 seconds to play with right now. This isn't some kind of late round hit, but they've got to use the control that they have and figure out what the best direction to go in is.
Orb gained.
So much pressure on Cryo here to just hold down heaven on his own. Yeah. He's got to be worried about multiple
Smoke
spots.
fades. That's a wrong timing for him, but again, another shot. Just going wide, Stella. I don't know if it's a pre-fire or what, but it's just pure brilliance on display. Sassy seeks to make the most of it, holding towards the back angle, but he's brought down and traded. Viper's orb going down. Stella close to the corner. Where does he expect it? Zekken! He's getting util kills on another nade online, leaves it into 1v3. The wider face by Asuna will be punished.
What excellent control by Sen to be able to get up to double digits. Just allowing 100 Thieves to have so much control of the map and yet still being able to be in good positions to retake. It's so reminiscent of the way that they were playing A on Pearl. They didn't care in the first map where the 100 Thieves took the entirety of mid. Yeah. Because they weren't converting once they got to the site. And Sentinels had been running their retakes over and over. It was about the only good thing when you look at the stats that both of these teams were doing in the regular season. They were both still winning about a third of their retakes, which, while it might sound bad, is actually fairly decent. Most of the time when teams get plants down against you, you're not in a good spot to pull off a big, miraculous retake. Yeah, but SEN have been solid with them.
What's the approach here on either side? Absolute war chest of ultimates at their disposal.
If 100 Thieves can't win this one, then it might just be game over.
Yeah.
You're expecting both teams to invest super heavily in the ult department here.
It's a massively pivotal round.
And once more, Trademark goes down in B main. You're expecting Cryo to potentially drop off that angle and still retain presence there.
It's calm to begin with, but you're going to see it. Satchel skips across just in case an operator was holding that angle. Nade. Push back and punish.
Yeah, possibly looking to showstopper.
Second with a showstopper! Satchel forwards and spraying in the air! It's not accurate. And Second somehow makes the most of it. How's he gotten away with that? Retreats back towards the staircase, gives up the space, and now that it's going to be scaled up on by 100 Thieves, but they've lost a player once more. Here's the pit from the high ground position. This is a weird one, isn't it? Drop down, creates a bit of an opening, tucks itself into spawn, spam from Marved. SEN have control of this one in terms of the positioning. They can swarm this one. They can spam these angles.
5v3, but into a Viper's pit is still so difficult.
I get 2v5.
I mean, surely this is enough numbers to be able to get it.
Surely, sure, with the spam angles. I mean, bang. 33 health, pushing forwards. Right through it, still alive. Stella is the active participant, and he needs to stay alive. He does do just that, but with the counter spam, it's Pancada. He follows the traces. It paints a happy trail right towards a round win.
And look at that, even with 5 players alive, it still took the final one. A series of
I always hold my breath, Josh. But listen, when the Viper's pit's on, I don't, listen, 3v5, 2v5, it doesn't matter.
But like I said, if 100 Thieves weren't able to win that round, then it could have just been game over. They didn't even get the chance to invest the showstopper because the tempo was ripped away from them by Zekken with this play.
Yeah.
A cute hop from Asna to try to avoid it, but he still goes down. Can't use the big entry tool that they had access to. And SEN end up with a massive player advantage converting. This puts 100 Thieves in a very rough spot.
The economy isn't good. Spoke about how important it was. Stinger's purchased. A lot of ults committed on top of it. SEN setting themselves up for a slam dunk, that 12th round, getting one step closer, claiming the map, bringing us to a third.
I feel like we saw, you know, set tactics on Pearl a little bit for when they had these eco rounds, which I'm not really seeing here on Split. I was expecting Asuna to get much more aggressive to try and find value out of double blast pack plays with a Stinger or with a Showstopper supported in some way. It's been so slow the whole time.
Ultimate Divide.
What is that? This Showstopper is just walking up mid.
Into mid, Asuna alone! But it lands anyway. Gets the target. Second, he's wondering exactly what was going on. Here's Tens.
It's another TikTok Viper's pit.
Yeah, it's the Viper's pit. Something must be going around, Tens. He's just trying to slam them as well as they're trying to take control of it. Knife still hitting. The refresh is there. Into the pit with the right clicky faces. All of them.
360 for their style points as well.
This is absurd. The pit's still up. Spike planted, of course. Smoke here. Derek doesn't want to fire to give away his positioning. Half onto the defuse. Needs to land the flick. He will not do so. Shut down. As it was preordained. There's that 12th round for Sentinels.
And it looks heavily likely at this point that we're going to 3.
Match point.
So many questions about what both of these teams were going to run, whether we'd see role changes, comp changes. I think a lot of people were excited to see Asna pull out the Raze and Cryo potentially play Chamber, but it's not working on their attack side. Both maps, attacking has just been so poor for 100 Thieves. And we thought we were going to say potentially the same thing for SEN, but you know, they really got a couple of good rounds in there. In a streak in the first half here on Split.
It's explosive. One
of the first times that we see Asuna go for this double blast. And he sprayed down through a wall.
Yeah. Split changes. That was a while ago, but yeah. Opens up that angle for the pre-fire.
And a nice flash from Sassy there as well to make sure that nobody else pushed up behind Asuna. And the Trailblazer using all of this Sky utility to make sure that A is clear. And now they can focus a little bit more elsewhere on the map. Just a very standard setup. Cryo looking to try and equalize.
Yeah, he heard the jump spot. He's hoping for another peek. It's a 4v5, and this is for everything in the map itself.
Cryo really has to be the difference maker here. He doesn't normally like to attack side up this aggressively, but he's going to have to now.
Yeah.
His team needs it.
Needs to be the impetus.
Oh, it's a fake play towards B, potentially, or a double pump. Hard to tell, really, what 100 Thieves are cooking here. Astra stars over towards A. The spike was in that direction.
Power of the gun.
Back to Cryo.
Out in the open. They know that Cryo's there. Jumps down, punished in the end. Second. He takes out 2 of them. Wants a bit more, taking a fight straight to them with the nade. Eventually fading away, but it's a 2v4 now. Play together, and it should be sailing it away. Derek, quick reactions. Snaps towards the side. Sassy meets him near sighted. Into the angle, into the corner. Pre-fired. It's damage done to a multitude of targets, but it matters not. Sentinels and 100 Thieves. We are destined to go to map 3.
How could it be any other way? After the blinder of a map that was Pearl, we get rewarded with a comeback from SEN. And there are worries now with the attack side of 100 Thieves. They recovered it. In that first map of Pearl, it took everything from them, but their defense side was good enough to make up for the qualms there. Now, though, you see what it looks like when they're not able to pull off a masterclass on the defense side. A 7-5 half, not enough. And this is going to introduce some really interesting questions for Bind, because if I had to guess, I think them playing the Raised Chamber on Bind, that feels like an obvious, right? A slam dunk. If you're going to play it on Split, probably you're going to end up playing it on Bind too.
It's going to be a real possibility. This match is delivering. Seeing such high peaks in terms of everything on this just display from top to bottom.
And there is an enormous amount of pressure on 100 Thieves now. I think even more so than Sentinels, they'll want the win in this game to ensure that they can go on a bit of a run and justify their position in the partnership system as players, as a roster.
That's what they're playing for. It's elimination this early on in LCQ. No second chances for either of these teams. This is what the year culminates into. This is what it all lands on. Time for a quick break. When we return, the analyst going to get us ready for map number 3.